this experiment, we're going to have a look at the effect of 3 different substances on some hydrogen peroxide. Now, they should help the hydrogen peroxide to decompose. Hydrogen peroxide produces oxygen when it decomposes. I've got some in this measuring cylinder already, and I've mixed a little bit of washing up liquid with that. So as it produces the oxygen oxygen gas gets trapped in a little layer of foam, little bubbles of foam. So when I add my catalyst to them, I'm hoping that that foam will start to grow as it produces oxygen quite quickly, and we can use that as a way to compare these different substances. Now, I've got manganese dioxide here, which is a chemical catalyst, and I've got liver and green pepper as well, which come from living organisms, which means they are biological catalysts, and we call those enzymes. So the purpose of the experiment is to compare the chemical catalyst with the 2 biological catalysts and see which ones we think are best. So I've got my manganese dioxide here mixed with a little bit of water to help it mix down into the hydrogen peroxide at the bottom properly. So I'm going to add that to my measuring cylinder and start the stop clock. Now, every 10 seconds I want us to try to take a reading of how high, what volume is in the measuring cylinder. So that will be the hydrogen peroxide at the bottom plus the foam that's on the top. Now, you should probably be able to pause the film clip so that you can take that measurement. I'm going to have to use a pen to put a mark on the side every 10 seconds so that I can record my data a little bit later. So my first job is to add the catalyst, start the stop clock. So now I'm going to have a go at looking at what happens when I put some liver into some hydrogen peroxide. So I've got a piece of chicken liver here, which I'm going to drop into the top of my measuring cylinder and then start the stopwatch. So in it goes, start. Let's give it a bit of a shake and make sure it's properly in that hydrogen peroxide. Okay, let's stop there. Now, I realise the measuring cylinder was turned a bit away from you, so you perhaps you couldn't take the readings while I was recording that. So I'm going to record them on my data table, and then I'll show you a bit later in the film clip, I'll show you what all my results were so that you can note them down as well if you didn't manage to get them. So I'm going to do the experiment again now using the pieces of green pepper. So again, I'll pop them in, start the stop clock, and I'll be making marks every 10 seconds, but you might want to stop the film clip. Give it a little swirl, make sure they get down properly into the hydrogen peroxide. Well, this one looks to be the most useless of the lot. It doesn't even seem to be producing any bubbles at all. Yep, my second mark on there is at 20, and I don't think I'm even going to bother to record any more data because it clearly isn't decomposing that hydrogen peroxide at all. I've now recorded all my data on my worksheet, so if you weren't able to get anything off the film clip, you might want to pause it now so that you can copy down the data from mine. And what's interesting about this is we can see that the manganese dioxide produced a huge amount of oxygen in the first 10 seconds, way more than the others did, and carried on producing quite a lot of oxygen as well. The liver produced a little bit of oxygen in the first 10 seconds, and then it wasn't able to produce very much after that. There's a little bit of a jump there. I think that was where I swirled it to try to make sure that the liver was down properly in the hydrogen peroxide. But overall, it produced only about 20 centimetres cubed more over the length of the experiment, whereas this produced about 40 centimetres cubed more over the length of the experiment. And we also saw that the green pepper was useless. It didn't seem to work at all. So I stopped recording the data then after 20 seconds. So you should be ready now to carry on with the rest of the worksheet.